Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name's Tyler and I just do consistent content and all things related to hockey and the NHL overall. And yes, phase 2 of the NHL Draft Lottery happened last night with the New York Rangers winning that first overall selection. As you know by now, you probably saw my previous video and reacting to it. That really blew up. And a quick shout out to Hot Take Hockey for putting me on his channel along with some other people, great hockey fans, reacting to the situation with the New York Rangers winning yesterday. I'll even put that in the description down below if you haven't checked that out. Make sure you do. But wow, I'm still trying to comprehend what happened last night. But now that the draft lottery is over, it's time to do our post draft lottery mock draft. So that's what I'll be doing for you today. So shout out to some guys, and of course Lego Rocks, Grab, Nathan, and of course Top Shelf Hockey, who have already come out with their own post draft lottery mock drafts, and it's about time I do mine as well. So without further ado, let's get right into this video. But if you are new to the channel, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button if you end up enjoying this kind of hockey content. I really appreciate all the love and everything I've been getting thus far. It means so much to me. Thank you all so much, first of all, especially for what's happened over the past 24 hours among other things. It truly means a lot. And trust me, guys, this is only the beginning of a lot of amazing and great things that happen on this channel. And without further ado, let's get right into this mock draft. Alright guys, so as you can see, I'm currently on capfriendly.com where you can do your own mock draft lottery simulation. So that's what we're going to be doing today. I've done this in my past previous videos while doing the lottery simulation. So without further ado, let's get right into it. And I will also publish this after the fact. So if you want to go on Cap Friendly and check out mine to know it's legit, make sure you do. So here we go. Choose winner. It's automatically the Rangers. Whoa. I'll just hit skip lottery because that... Hurricanes didn't win the first overall pick, obviously. I'm not sure why that happened. Okay, everything's in order now. Okay. So obviously you have the New York Rangers at first, then the LA Canes at second. Third is the Ottawa Senators from that San Jose pick in that Erik Karlsson trade. Fourth is the Detroit Red Wings. Fifth is the Ottawa Senators. Sixth is the Anaheim Ducks. Seventh is the New Jersey Devils. Eighth is the Buffalo Sabres. Ninth is the Minnesota Wild. 10th is the Winnipeg Jets. 11th is the Nashville Predators. 12th is the Florida Panthers. 13th is Carolina Hurricanes from the pick they acquired in that Patrick Marleau deal with the Leafs earlier. And 14th is the Edmonton Oilers. And 15th is the Pittsburgh Penguins. We will be going all the way 1 through 15 today. Nothing more than that. But to start off at the first overall pick, this is the most obvious one. It is going to be the New York Rangers selecting none other than Alexis Lafreniere. This is a given. Alexis Lafreniere, I'm still trying to wrap my head around the fact that the Rangers are going to more than likely be getting this guy come the, of course, draft. And I'm just ecstatic. In the QJMHL this year, Alexis had 112 points in just 57 games, including 77 assists. This guy is 6'1". He really is looking like a full man out there. Is great with his overall puck possession. We all know the highlights we've seen from him. He's been coveted for years now, and for good reason. He's a huge part as to why this draft class is coveted by numerous scouts, might I add, and analysts and reporters out there that believe that this draft class has the potential to be the best in NHL history. Now, obviously, time will tell going down the road, but until then, Alexis Lafreniere has looked absolutely amazing, whether it be at the World Junior stage or just in the QJMHL. He really has been doing it all for Team Canada and his respective team in the QJMHL, the same team, of course, that Sidney Crosby played for, and wow, is he something. His playmaking ability is absolutely elite. He can shoot the puck. He's had 30 and 40 goal seasons in his career in the QJMHL, and he just does it all. He makes the guys around him that much better, and it seems like he would be a centerman, right? No, he's actually a left winger, which makes it more rare and more impressive having a guy of his talents on the wing going all the way to first overall, and it really isn't that close. So Alexis Lafreniere, I perfectly expect to come to the Rangers lineup, be in their top 6 right away, and contribute along the likes of other young guys in their roster, whether it be the likes of Kaapo Kakko, Vitaly Kravtsov, who looks like he will be with the Rangers probably next season, and plenty of other weapons there, along with that defense led by Adam Fox. Honestly, they just look so great between Artemi Panarin, Mika Zibanejad, Filipino, who I absolutely love. I am so excited for what this future holds with the Rangers and Alexis Lafreniere. With that being said, next now, for the second pick, the LA Canes are going to get Tim Stützle. Now, last time I did these, I had Quinton Byfield going to LA Canes. It seemed like it made more sense. But after taking in more consideration, especially when it comes to Tim and his overall game, what he has been doing in a men's league like Dell in the German league against men as an 18-year-old has been something unprecedented, truly. He has broken records there, and I really think that the LA Kings are not going to pass up on him. I think while this is somewhat of a toss, a coin flip, if you will, I still think Tim Stützle will go number 2, if not number 3. But I really think in this case 2, after reconsidering a lot. I think Quinn Byfield would be a very good piece for the LA Kings, a bigger bodied centerman, might add, which is what the Kings have been known for in their recent cup runs, whether it be in 2012 or 2014. But when it comes to the Kings now, as they continue this rebuild, having this kind of prospect pool, it just makes more sense to have a guy like Stützle who can play both at the center and wing position. I think more versatility will, of course, benefit Stützle with the Kings. So Stützle, an amazing young talent, has skyrocketed through the draft rankings over the past year, playing in the Dell League, and of course in 34 games played, had 34 points, I should say, in 41 games, including 27 assists. Great playmaking ability, great acceleration, so strong on the puck, even for a fairly smaller statured winger / centerman in himself. He can really shoot the puck too. He just has elite playmaking ability, and his hands are just filthy, along with Lafreniere, of course, but Stützle's hands are really something else as well. So a lot to like about him. He really looks like he's going to be the real deal for whatever team drafts him. He will be in the league right away, in my opinion, doing fantastic against men in Dell, and I fully expect the LA Kings to bank on him at that 2nd overall pick. Which leads me to the 3rd overall pick, where the Ottawa Senators, yes, they're going to take the big-bodied centerman in Quinn Byfield. Now, what I don't understand with some scouts or just some fans, they really are underestimating Quinn Byfield. He has looked like a monster for over a year now, easily. He really looks like another Evgeny Malkin plus out there, and I know Malkin gets tossed around with plenty of other guys, whether it's been Kaapo Kakko going into his draft year or Andrei Svechnikov, but Quinn Byfield is something different. He's even better than Malkin when it comes to his two-way game. He's so fantastic in his own zone defensively. He can really bring up the puck. He has a lethal shot, might I add. Another guy with elite playmaking ability, but he can really do it all, especially on the defensive front. He's one of the most defensively sound forwards, most well-balanced forwards, centerman, I should say, in this year's draft class. And Byfield in the OHL this year had 82 points in 45 games in those 50, and had 50 assists in doing so. Really something special. I'm so stoked to see what Byfield is going to do at the NHL level. I don't think he'll need much developing to do. I really think he will be another one of those guys that comes in the league. If not next year, then definitely the following year for sure. He just looks elite. He's been in the conversation as a possible 1st overall pick at times. I don't think he's going to get 1st, but I definitely think he will be top 3, and I expect the Ottawa Senators to take that chance at him there. But next down, at the 4th pick, we have the Detroit Red Wings, and they are going to take Marco Rossi. Now look, this might be more of a controversial type pick here, but Marco Rossi, in my opinion, is undoubtedly a top 5 talent in this year's draft, and really, in my opinion, would be top 3 even if he wasn't smaller statured. He is only 5'9", which, even though that isn't terribly small, scouts still have this stigma when it comes to smaller statured players that there is more risk. But Marco Rossi has proven in his short professional career just how good he is. Rossi, of course, playing in the OHL with the Ottawa 67s, while he, of course, would be a good fit with the Senators, and he may very well end up going there, I think it would make a lot of sense for him to go to Detroit at 4 as well, if they say can't get a guy like Stützle all the way at 4. But of course, Rossi had 120 points in 56 games, including 81 assists. Another one of the best playmakers in all this year's draft class, which is important given how deep this draft class is when it comes to the offensive potential and talent between their wingers and centermen. Rossi just displays an unbelievable set of skills. His hands are silky smooth. He can shoot the puck for sure, and his playmaking ability is just, it is beautiful. I love his game so much, and you should too. Make sure you check out his highlights if you haven't. He may be smaller in stature, but that is not stopping him by any means, and the Detroit Red Wings will get a steal if they get him at that 4th overall pick. But next now, at the 5th overall pick, the Ottawa Senators. This one I felt a little bit more up in the air about, but I think the Senators are going to stay safe and take Jamie Drysdale. You know, they have defensive prospects. Yes, they have some very promising defensive prospects, but I think at that 5 spot too, and I got a lot of flack on my last draft lottery simulation video for having Drysdale all the way at 3. So I understand that. I do. So I have him at 5. I hope you Senators fans can deal with that a little bit more. Drysdale is a dynamic defenseman and really should not get underestimated at all. He really looks like a puck mover that is going to be elite in the NHL one day as a power play quarterback, really eating that chunk of minutes and would put put a big load off the shoulders of the likes of Thomas Chabot, who eats 25 plus minutes a game each night for the Senators as they are in this full rebuild. So bringing in a guy like Drysdale, you can really have him in the lineup sooner rather than later, and he would just do fantastic for them. Of course, Drysdale this year has really looked like somebody in the OHL, had 47 points in those only 49 games, including 38 assists. Like I said, he's a dynamic puck-moving defenseman, can do a lot for the Senators as they continue this full rebuild and have so many grade A and grade B prospects. I really think they're going to blossom into a possible dynasty one day as long as they have a good draft. And regardless if them getting the first overall pick or not, obviously they aren't, I think they're still going to have a fantastic draft, not just this year, but going forward. They're going to make some noise as soon as this next season. I really believe it. They just have so much young talent on this team, oozing with talent. Even with some of the bad trades that Dorian has made in the past, I think he's really going to settle well in this year's draft. But next now, at the 6th pick, and I just want to remind myself who was at 6, the Anaheim Ducks. Yeah, the Anaheim Ducks, they are taking Lucas Raymond. Lucas Raymond, a fantastic talent. Yes, it can be a toss-up between him and the likes of Cole Perfetti. Perfetti would make a lot of sense too. I understand that debate between being the next centerman up besides Ryan Getzlaf, of course, but when it comes to Lucas Raymond, one of the most overlooked players in this year's draft class, and while he doesn't have great numbers in the SHL, he has been eating bottom feeder minutes the entirety of his career in the SHL thus far as an 18-year-old. He's not even averaging 10 minutes a night there. That's just the reality of it. And when he is out there, he is dynamic. He has one of the most explosive skills on offense out of all the players in this year's draft class, and I mean that wholeheartedly. Watch his highlights. He really can do it all. While his defensive game isn't terrible, it is slightly lacking, but like I said, it isn't bad at all either. I really think he will do a lot. While he can shoot the puck in flashy fashion, his playmaking ability is easily, in my opinion, top 4 in this entire draft. He is just something else, truly. When you look at his stats, he has really done it all in the SHL. Even in that smaller role, of course, he only had 10 points in 33 games, including 4 goals and 6 assists. But like I said, don't let that faze you. Watch his highlights in juniors. Watch him in the SHL overall. Remember, he has been in a very small role, not even 10 minutes a game as an 18-year-old going up against men in Sweden. And he is a guy who could very well be in Anaheim's lineup sooner rather than later. They can use the help on the wing as they kind of continue this rebuild / retool. Not really sure what they're doing, but regardless, I think Raymond would for sure be a steal and really could end up being one of the biggest surprises in this year's draft class. But next up, we have at number 7, the New Jersey Devils are going to pick Alexander Holtz, the other Swedish winger, and boy does he look like a goal scorer. Easily one of the best goal scorers in this year's draft class, in my opinion. I expect a lot from Raymond, and you should too, especially Devils fans. There's been speculation that they would go with a guy like Raymond for a while, and I don't blame them at all. He's a dynamic goal scorer and really gets overlooked as well, given that he has been in a smaller role as well, in the SHL. Where is he at? Okay, Holtz has had 16 points in 35 games, including 9 goals and 7 assists, and he can shoot the puck. Watch his highlights, like I said, in junior and in the SHL as well. Boy, does he have a shot, a wicked shot. Put him in that top 6 sooner rather than later, along the likes of Jack Hughes and Nico Hischier on the 5-on-5 and power play. And boy, oh boy, do they have a young little group right there that is going to blossom. Jack Hughes is only going to continue to get better. And this is a guy similar to Raymond that really can come into the NHL sooner than later. The fact that these guys have proven that they can play against men in the Swedish Elite League is unbelievably important. I fully expect Raymond to be a dynamic goal scorer coming out of this year's draft class very, very soon. But next up, we have at the 8th spot, the Buffalo Sabres are going to take Cole Perfetti. This one can be a toss-up too with Antoine Lundell, given how great of a defensive centerman Antoine Lundell is. But well, let's face it, if the Buffalo Sabres want to go anywhere, they need help on that offense, and they need help behind Jack Eichel. So bringing Cole Perfetti, a more big-body centerman, can really handle his own when it comes to puck possession and is strong in the defensive zone as well. Really strong playmaking ability, gets overlooked by a lot of scouts as well, because some guys don't even have him in the top 10, and that blows my mind because he's a top 5 talent to many. I just think this draft is so deep where Perfetti could go anywhere between 5 and 10, truly. So I have him going at 8 here to the Buffalo Sabres, having him behind Eichel in that top 6. And don't forget, they have Dylan Cousins too. So they have some center depth there, and bringing in Perfetti would do a lot for them. You know, Perfetti put up fantastic numbers in the OHL this year, 111 points in only 64 games. Wow, is that something, including 74 assists. You know, being the captain for the Saginaw Sting, I really think he will do wonders for the Buffalo Sabres as they are trying to get out of this playoff drought, stop stop being the laughingstock of the NHL, and I really think that they will finally come out of that sooner rather than later, and getting a guy like Perfetti at 8 will be huge. He could very well be a huge steal going forward coming out of this draft class. But next now, at number 9, the Minnesota Wild are going to take, the Minnesota Wild here. This one might be a little tough, but I think they got to go with a guy like Jack Quinn. You know, I've had Dylan Holloway in the past, but Jack Quinn is arguably the best goal scorer in this year's draft, and put him in that offense with possibly Kirill Kaprizov. I don't know about as soon as next season, but maybe in 2 years, that would really look like something. We all know the hype of Kaprizov, of course, and they need help, of course, on that offense. Kevin Fiala is really looking fantastic for them, but they're old. They're a much older team in the NHL. They need more core prospects in that top 6, that top 9 that are filled with youth, and Jack Quinn would do just that. Playing along the likes in the Ottawa 67s with, of course, Marco Rossi. He's not a product of Rossi by any means. He scored plenty of goals this past year without him. Lethal shot, like I said, one of the best shooters in this draft, if not the best, honestly. And he really looks like he's going to be something special. He had 89 points in 62 games this year in the OHL, including 52 goals. 52. So yeah, you put him on that 5-on-5, you put him on that power play, he shoots from anywhere as well. He doesn't just lock himself as a righty in that left dot. No. He will bring up the rush. He will snipe that thing. He'll get down the dirty to get the puck. He wins puck battles. He's aggressive too. He's not afraid to get in the nitty-gritty, get in a fight if he needs to. He really will do it all for your team. And I think that is exactly the type of player that the Minnesota Wild needs. Another gritty guy who can really shoot the puck and help them with their offense as soon as next season possibly. But next now you have at the number 10 pick, the Winnipeg Jets, in my opinion. This one's a little bit slight of a toss-up too, but they need help on defense. They really do. And this one's tough, but I think they got to go with Jake Sanderson here. They just need help with that defense. Yes, I know they need help on that right side, and maybe this is my mistake here by not picking a right-handed defenseman, but Jake Sanderson looks like he's going to be one of the most sound defensemen coming out of this year's draft. I've seen comparisons with Ryan Suter, in the sense of him being able to eat those minutes, 20 to 25 minutes a night, as soon as he gets in the NHL, possibly as soon as next season. And the Winnipeg Jets could definitely use help on that blue line, regardless of the fact that they probably need more help on the right side than the left. I really think having a guy like Sanderson, who is the best player coming out of the USHL this year, would do wonders for them, and they desperately need it. Look, Connor Hellebuyck bailed that defense out all year long, and without him, they wouldn't have even gone remotely close to a playoff spot, in my ad. They had a better defensive ranking than they did offensive this year. They had an 11th defensive ranking this year, and that was only because of Connor Hellebuyck. Let me make that clear. So Jake Sanderson looking really strong, had 14 points in 19 games in the USHL. While that isn't a lot, like I said, he has proven just how sound he is as a more stay-at-home / two-way defenseman. Can contribute on the offense, on the power play, but he really isn't known for that. He had 2 goals and 12 assists in his totals. But overall, Jake Sanderson would be a great fit for the Winnipeg Jets and really help that defense tremendously, eating those chunk of minutes, and they desperately need it. Next now, at the 11th pick, the Nashville Predators here. This one's a little bit more tough too. I think, honestly, Yaroslav Askarov. I get it that a lot of them like UC Saros, right? And I don't know too well when it comes to their prospect pool, when it comes to goaltending. So maybe there's a guy I'm missing here. But regardless, Askarov is expected to go in this first round. Very well could go in this top 15, if not even top 10. So Askarov is a guy that for the Predators could really come in the league, hopefully within the next couple of years. I'm not sure when his KHL contract is done, but they need help with that goaltending. Not just the defense, with that goaltending for sure. Pekarine's time really looks like it's surely close to done. I think he can still play a little bit, but he is, of course, at the end of his prime. And UC Saros, I don't know how much I trust him. He showed flashes of brilliance at times, but I don't know if that is enough to get the job done for the Predators. So Askarov could very well be a big piece for them sooner rather than later. He has had fantastic stats, and in 18 VHL games, which is the AHL for the KHL, basically, he had a save percentage of .920 and a goals allowed average of 2.45. Really awesome numbers there. I think Askarov is going to be the real deal. I believe he's 6'3", is a big body, another Russian goaltender that looks like he will be a phenom in the NHL one day. So look, the Preds need help in that goaltending, and I think Askarov can be the next big thing since Pekarine. But next now, at the 12th pick, the Florida Panthers. This one is a little tough too. They definitely need help in multiple areas here. But if I had to choose between all my options, I got to go with Antoine Lundell. You know, They need help with that offense a little bit. They need some help on that when it comes to depth. But Antoine Liddell, what is the biggest factor for him is he is a Swiss Army knife. He is the best two-way player in this entire draft class. You can quote me on that's fine. That's really how I feel. What he has done in Liga has truly been remarkable. I believe he has 28 points in 44 games, including 10 goals and 18 assists. As an 18-year-old playing in the Finnish Elite League, looking amazing, might I add. Such a sound centerman / winger, which is great for the Florida Panthers case. They can be versatile with him. They can move him around. Have him 5-on-5. Have him on power play because he can, of course, shoot the puck and contribute offensively. But his two-way game is fantastic. And the Panthers' biggest problem right now, besides the obvious goaltending scenario, is their defense. And how do you fix your defense? It's not just by the defenders. It's by having sound forwards that know how to back check properly and forecheck. Hound the guys one-on-one. Make it happen. Antoine Liddell is that guy, and I think he would be a perfect fit for the Florida Panthers. Next, at the 13th pick, the Carolina Hurricanes, using that pick that they got from the Toronto Maple Leafs. This one's a little tough too. They could really go in a lot of routes, but I would say they definitely need help on the offensive side of things, just adding more depth, because that defense, let's face it, it looks fantastic. So because of that reason, this one's a little tough, honestly. Let's see. I think they're going to go with a guy like Dylan Holloway. This might be a little bit of a surprise pick to you, but I've had Dylan Holloway basically in the top 15 in almost, if not already, all of my draft simulations, with him going to the Minnesota Wild more often than not. But Holloway is a very balanced winger that looks like he could be in the NHL right away, which would benefit the Carolina Hurricanes greatly as they are in this win-now state. So I think bringing in a guy like Holloway would make a lot of sense for them. He, of course, was playing in college this year in the NCAA and had 17 points in 35 games, including 8 goals and 9 assists. He can really do a lot for this Carolina team immediately, and that is a crucial factor into things. They could throw him in that bottom 6 right away and contribute 5-on-5 special teams, including the penalty kill. Let me make that clear. He's very sound defensively, great two-way game, can shoot the puck as well, has good playmaking ability, but he's just a very balanced winger, one of the more balanced wingers in this entire draft class. So Dylan Holloway, I think, would be a very strong fit for the Carolina Hurricanes at 13. But next now, the Edmonton Oilers. And yes, they need offense. I know that their defense does not look great, but look, they could use any more offensive depth as possible. So because of that reason, I think that they have to go with a guy. And this is more of a toss-up as well, I understand. But I would probably pick here, honestly, between the two. I would pick Seth Jarvis. I know some guys really love Dawson Mercer, but between the two, I really don't think they're too different. Seth Jarvis is another one of the better goal scorers in this entire draft here. And in the WHL, 98 points in 58 games, and this guy who hopefully, for Edmonton's sake, they could have him in the lineup within the next couple years for, of course, being along the likes of Connor McDavid and the Dreisaitl's. Yamamoto's looking great. That core group is looking awesome in that offense, but they still need more help around McDavid. So bringing in a guy like Jarvis who can shoot the puck, who could keep up the pace with a guy like McDavid or Draisaitl would be ginormous for them going forward. So Jarvis, I think, would benefit a ton with going to the Edmonton Oilers at 14. And with 15, the Pittsburgh Penguins, you know, they always tend to draft well even when they don't have their first overall picks. So because of that, I think, honestly, do they want some more center depth or do they want some more winger depth? This is another one where it's kind of a toss-up, but I'm going with Connor Zary here. Connor Zary is a guy who has really impressed me at times. He's a little smaller in stature too, which may be a little worrisome depending on who you're talking to, but I think he would still be a very solid pick for the Pittsburgh Penguins at 15. Now, I know that there's plenty of people that are like, dude, we need defense. I understand that, but this is such a heavy front-loaded draft when it comes to offense. I think Pens can do just fine with defenders, whether they're drafting in the later rounds, whether it be second, third, or even fourth. I think they can still get a guy that isn't far off from where they would be getting in the first round. That's just my personal opinion. But Connor Zary was really looking strong this year at 86 points in 57 games, and the WHL including 48 assists, and is a guy that they can bank on in the future. I don't expect him to come in the NHL for a couple years, but when he is, I think he would be very solid in that top 9 possibly. He does have the potential to really make things happen. Very strong playmaker, can shoot the puck as well, and just overall a very reliable centerman that the Pens could bank on in the near future. But with that being said, I think that's going to conclude this video. So let me know what you think in the comments below. Do you agree with my mock draft? Do you disagree with me? Whatever it may be, make sure to let me know, and I would really love to hear your thoughts. If you haven't checked out my reaction video from last night, make sure you do. You probably saw it already, but make sure you do. Make sure to check out all the other guys I mentioned, all these other hockey YouTubers. They are fantastic. They're putting out some great content. Is a perfect time to be be making videos for the hockey community with so many amazing things happening in the NHL currently. But thank you all again, guys. Thank you all for the love. Thank you all for 300 subscribers. Makes me so happy. Now let's reach 400, guys. I know we can do it, and we will do it very soon. Thank you all again, guys. Check out my previous videos right down below, and I'll be back probably tomorrow.